gentlemen, so we're back at the warehouse at the HQ, and I gotta show you guys what we have built here so far. So we kind of built like a work and trading setup throughout this area over here. So currently right now, I have my setup here. That's Briss, as you guys know him as Good Boy Trades, Good Boy, Christian, whatever you guys refer him as. That's his setup over there. Then I have another friend's trading setup here, mine. Now the thing is, I like the area, but I feel like it's a little cramped, a little bit cluttered here. As you guys know, I trade with a lot of monitors. I have a lot of different monitors for things. So I'm gonna build my entire setup over here with the actual setup itself being against the wall. I'm gonna get some wall mounts for the monitors. I'm gonna get 2 monitors, one widescreen and then one regular one that's at my house. It's an OLED monitor. Smack the SVJ back there, leave the couch here, get rid of this couch, and then put the rest of my setup on here. I gotta go buy this stuff and we'll be back with you guys. Bro really said, bro, I don't want to sit in the back because it's gonna break. It's carbon fiber. Get back there, sweet cheeks.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so ass.
You go back there?
No. Like not even, stop. Oh! Do it.
Okay, so I've got a new monitor here. It's a 34-inch OLED from Asus. I have my 2 other monitors here. So ideally, what I'm gonna work on setting up right now, which I have another arm in the car, is we put the monitor on the wall. And we also have here a dual monitor
Yeah, boy.
arm stand that is also on the wall. So I'm gonna install this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my main monitor be down here. I'm gonna have 2 monitors on top. I'm gonna push the desk towards the wall, and then I'm gonna have 2 vertical monitors. So that way I have a ton of real estate on the desk and most of the setup is on the wall. What I'm gonna have to think about after is obviously like probably like the lights and stuff, but all that's like little stuff. So I just wanna have like the core setup already done on the wall. And then once that's done, I'll like decorate the back of the wall. Well, how long do you think we've been building this piece? An hour and a half? An hour? This is the battle station so far. What I gotta do now is obviously connect the computer and everything else. I'm gonna have somebody come and build me like a super dope backdrop with LED lights, floating shelf. And then of course, the SVJ is gonna be back here too, which is gonna be sick. So I'm gonna finish building this up. I'm gonna set it up and we'll give you guys a better look at what it's really gonna be for 2026. It's gonna be my trading setup. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next segment, I'm gonna be turning $5,000 into 100K. And the most important part about this specifically is I'm gonna document the entire journey. Technically yesterday was day 1, but I only recorded on the phone. And what I'm also doing every single day, which you guys can actually participate, is I'm sending out my analysis and the trades that I'm gonna be taking for this challenge specifically. I'm turning 5K into 100K on my Discord completely for free. So if you guys wanna join, see all of the trades that I'm taking and even take some of the same trades, it's completely for free. You guys can join with the very first link down in the description. And since I've already started this challenge specifically yesterday, 1 to 500 leverage, not using a bonus account or anything, I've already made $1,100. So I lost my first 2 trades in a row. So this was a $600 loss, and then I had a $200 loss, and then I made about $17 or almost $2,000 on the next trade, which was all shorts. And the thing about it too is I'm also trading it on prop firms as well. So on this prop firm account, I've already passed them. I just have to wait the days, and it hasn't refreshed the dash. It's at a 9K profit target. As you can see, it's sitting here at $7,000. And this was the trade that I caught on the gold. There's literally trying to short gold inside of this area, and I ended up catching a 4.5R. And then of course at the end of it too, I sent a trade recap, and this is the actual analysis that I had on gold itself. So the goal of this challenge is I'm only going to be doing this on gold during the Asia session. So you guys at work a traditional 9 to 5 have really no excuse as to why you can't trade. I know some of you guys work double jobs, but at the same time I'm specifically speaking about your regular average day-to-day people that work at 9 to 5. Anyways, I'll get back to you guys in the next video. Put one of the desks where my old desk. How you missing it every time? Whatever, bro. Bro, you can put, yeah, like you can put one of the desks where I had mine over there. Well, guys, we ran into an issue. And normally, I don't struggle with performance issues in multiple aspects of my life. But today specifically, we're struggling with a performance issue with my $5,000, literally, Lamborghini PC. Which the issue is, the graphics card is not powerful enough to run every single one of these monitors because 3 of them are OLED monitors and the other 2 are mid. So now, what I'm really gonna have to do is drive all the way home, grab my other PC, which I have 2 graphics cards, and essentially do a bait and switch. I'm thinking we can make this drive a little more fun, and instead, right, we could take out 2 cars. So that way it's not that boring.
Smoked out, no bridle. Keep a mask up on me face, kid, and it's all black. Got a lie low. Drugs right albino. If you know, then I know. Where did all of that time go? I see pyramids, no Kaido. I'm bold. She's living right in me.
We came all the way back to my crib to swap PCs. Basically, 25 minutes. I wasn't taking into consideration the return time. That's the thing. But bro, we were here 5 minutes. Lamborghini and a McLaren hat. Holy fuck, boys. After dealing with this all day, having to go back to my house, swap PCs, we finally now got all 5 monitors up and running. The setup is still not done. There's a mess to clean up, and on top of that, I gotta route the Ethernet, and I fucked up because I left the connector to my mouse on my other PC, which sucks. So the job is almost done. It's almost done. The setup is done. Chair has got to go. I got another chair that I'm bringing from my warehouse, but we have the 34-inch OLED monitor from Alienware. Then we have just regular 2 1920 by 1080p monitors on the side for 240 hertz, and then 2 more OLED monitors on top. And then, of course, we have the PC over here, real racing helmet here, couch, Gooner, and then SVJ. That's the setup for 2026. I can't wait to trade live with the community every single day. I'm gonna have to have the camera on this time.
You have to.
I have to. And then it's gonna be lit, bro. I'm excited. Guys, so I've been trading on a $5,000 account, which as you guys can see is currently in profit, about 3,800 bucks. I've been documenting my journey every single day. Yesterday had a little bit of a losing streak. I'll keep you guys updated on what trades I take. I'm gonna go live with my community now, break down gold, and then we're gonna trade gold together. If you guys didn't know, I trade every single day. We trade the New York session, and I trade the Asia session. And we trade gold, we call out all of our trades that we're taking and break down the market as well. So if you guys want to join that, you guys click the very first link down in the description and trade this with me. And even then, you guys can also join the Discord completely for free, where I post my analysis on what I'm going to be looking for on gold and trade recaps as well, and do giveaways. So anyways, I'm going to start the live and we'll keep you guys updated on what trades we may potentially take. I'm going to share my screen here. What's good, everybody? Yesterday, what I was looking at that session, this is the last line of defense here, which is the POC. See how large that negative delta is. My stop is just right above at 7.8. All right, I'm out of that trade. All right, guys, so the day continues. Currently, right now on the 5K account, we're down almost $900. Should still leave us in profit in the account, but I've taken only 2 trades today, which I've missed some trades that have gone in my favor that I could have made money on. And on my funded accounts, I'm down, what is that, like $12,000 in between all 20 accounts. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated if I take any more trades. I was not looking to short up here in this area, but I definitely started getting more interested in actually taking shorts at lower prices once I saw all of this selling effort. Look at that. I mean, bro, just look at the CBD now compared to the entire session. And at this point, you know, we're almost at full target. All right, so we're leaving the office, but it's just gonna be me and you guys tonight for the rest of the night. So it's currently 2 in the morning. I've been here at the HQ for like, I don't know, well over 12 hours. I've been here just at the office, making content for the community because I am making a new training, an updated training, something I just like to I like to do, not yearly, but maybe like every year and a half. Right now, I'm currently down on the trading day. On the 5K account, I am down, I think on the trading day, like $2,000, which is not okay. Just made it to my home office. I want to show you guys the trade that I just took here. So as you guys can see, I'm still down on the day, and this is after I recovered some of my losses already. This is like my home setup, main monitor where I execute bookmap other side charts here. Took this trade as well on the 5K account, as you guys can see, which currently we're in profit. I'm simply looking for gold to drop down into this previous low, which is just above the low of day, which this is going to be our previous session's value area high. That's where I'm looking for gold to drop down to before potentially recovering and coming back up. And so far, value has shifted lower on the overall profile. It's London open here, so let's see how this plays out here. So again, just looking for a quick little move down into this support range, and if that support range does get tested, this is where I'll be looking to fully get out of the position. Anyways, guys, we'll see how this trade plays out. All right, so I'll give you guys an update on the trade and why I took the trade. So essentially, we're retesting this area where these sellers previously got trapped. All of these larger orders came in. This is also going to be the value area low as well. So break retest of the value area low. Stop loss just slightly outside of where all these previously large orders came in. There's a large seller that came in here as well, and all I'm looking for is an extension to this low all the way down here, which is a little bit generous, but I'm planning to trail my stop loss aggressively if we could see price continue to go down. Now the auction did fail over here, and you can see a large buyer did step in there. Cumulative volume delta also shows us buying coming into the market, so there's market orders being aggressively executed on the ask, but you can see price is not following through with that. And what that shows us is that we have limit orders absorbing all of this buying pressure. So I'm thinking we're gonna see a move down for the London session and then potentially a recovery after that. But let's just see how my thesis ends up playing out. All right, guys, so I'm officially break even on this trade. I can't really see it too well, but try and like focus the camera here. So you can see here, there's a red bubble. There's another red bubble over here. This is where the sellers started getting aggressive. This is gonna be previous day's point of control. I'm currently floating $2,000 on these funded accounts on this trade. That is my target. Decided to go risk-free, not only because of our multiple, but also because this is where the sellers defended price. So let's see if we can get that last little flush down into target. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So after yesterday's losing streak, I ended up trading the London session, and I caught two shorts on gold, putting the 5K account at $1,000 in profit, basically break even on the week, because we wrapped up last week at 9K, I believe was what
9.7.
Like 9.7. So I'm down technically $200 on the week. So this week is basically just a break-even week, which is not bad because I did recuperate my losses, and I ended up catching this short that you guys can see here on gold during the London session, which I also made $8,625 on a TPT Pro account, which is a funded account, which I'm going to request a payout from it later today. But I had caught this short over here when price started to reclaim back into value, and I just ended up taking the position off here at this area, which is going to be the value area low at that time. Basically, guys, those were the trades. And now let's go into the more in-depth breakdown on the trading session from yesterday. So before we get into the actual breakdown, I want to break down what auction market theory is for you guys, so you guys can get a little bit of a better understanding as to why the market moves the way it does. The market doesn't move, I promise you, based off of just support and resistance, supply and demand. That's not the case. This is when I got into auction market theory and started studying it a little bit more. So the way I'm going to break this down to you guys is through the car market. You could have done this through any market, but this is the reason why markets move. So to begin with, the markets move from a state of balance to imbalance, and then either finds new balance or rebalances in the previous area. So first and foremost, what balance is going to be considered? It's going to be considered an area of fair value where both the buyers and sellers are happy doing business. And this is where we see a lot of transacting. So the Cullinan, let's give you guys an example, is starting around $300,000. Both the buyers and sellers agree that this is a fair price, and the cars move easily. The cars are being bought and sold very easily inside of that specific price range. That is going to be considered balance. And what that looks like on a chart essentially is consolidation. And inside of that consolidation, you're going to see a lot of volume being traded. And that one specific area is going to be considered the value area. So most Cullinan sales happen between $295,000 and $305,000. That is going to be the value area where both the buyers and sellers are happy doing business. So that range is where the majority of business is done. Now, you could use a volume profile for a specific range. You could use a volume profile for a session, or you could use a volume profile for a day. Now, imbalance, this is where the market leaves that specific value area. So price leaves value. Demand spikes, dealers raise the price to 330,000, and at that price, buyers disappear, sales slow down. That is imbalance. On a chart that's going to look like very fast, low volume nodes, price is going to move very fast, create low volume nodes, and ultimately we're going to see a rejection. And then a rebalance is where we return back into prior value. So since 330K didn't work, meaning that we couldn't balance higher at 330K, and no buyers and sellers were happy doing business at 330K, price would come back towards its previous value area at 300K. Where again, then trading picks up again and balance is restored. This is the whole thesis on volume profile and why the markets actually move. So now going into my analysis, and I'm not going to go over every single trade, but I'm going to go over the important trades from yesterday, was if we look at the profile on the weekly time frame. So I'm going to drag it from here to about here. This is going to be that specific value area. So I'm going to get rid of some of these levels so that way, you know, we could have a little bit more of a cleaner workspace here, right? We have these three lines. So we have the blue line, the pink line, then the other blue line here. This is going to be the value area high. This is going to be the value area low, and this is going to be the point of control. So inside of this area is going to be that value area. You want to think about this from the example as the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, where this is at 305K, this is at 295K. This is where the buyers and sellers are happy doing business. And you can see the majority of volume is traded inside of this area. But there's one specific price point where this is where we see almost the most volume traded at this one price, which is going to be the point of control. So notice how far we've deviated away from that value area. So once we deviated this far away from the value area, what I can see on the way up was that there was a good amount of volume. There were some high volume nodes throughout this range here that was actually created. Granted, this is before we actually saw, because right now I have my fixed range volume profile from the weekly open to about like Asia session yesterday. And you can see that volume is starting to transact higher, showing us that we're finding value higher. But at that point in time, we were trading above that area. There wasn't much volume being traded. So what I was looking for was for one of two things: either a pullback into this high volume node, which is also going to be a previous session's value area high, or a pullback into the weekly value area. So that's what I was looking for. I thought the weekly value area was going to be a little bit unrealistic just because of how far away it actually was, and the fundamental sentiment for gold right now is bullish. So I was looking for a pullback into this previous high volume node to then look for a continuation. These areas are, again, areas where a lot of volume is being transacted, and you have to think about it, especially with certain instruments like gold. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being traded inside of these high volume nodes compared to the low volume nodes. So there's real intent and real trading done in this area. And if we look at the current price action, this is where we actually saw gold bounce and reverse off of, instead of looking for like a break and a retest of like this previous high. This is why volume analysis is so much more important, why I've gotten heavily deep and why I've dove heavily deeply into looking at volume profile, because volume is the reality and is the truth as to why price moves from certain areas to find new areas. So when it came down to this trade specifically, that is the reason why I was looking to take shorts on the Asia/London session. Now, when we go into the actual volume profile on the day, which I'm going to go to like a 1 minute time frame here, and I'm just going to, again, only select the Asia session here. That's back then. So essentially, what I was looking for was for price to break out of the current value area of the Asia session, which this is going to be the value area on the Asia session. And I was looking for a move down into, really it was this line right here, which is going to be 49.35, where we saw this low. You can see the sellers get absorbed here. And then if that potentially come back down into this zone that I have over here, this major area of support that we have from that high volume node. So one of the first trades that I started to actually take here was a standard break and retest of the value area. We see trapped buyers at the high of day and at the value area high. You can see what these bubbles represent, by the way, are going to be aggressive buying and aggressive selling. So there's two types of participants inside of the markets. You have your passive participant and you have your aggressive participant. The aggressive participant is what's going to actually move the market in a specific direction, and the speed at which those orders are coming into the market. And you can see that through like the tape or level 2, will determine how fast and how far the market will move. Now, what's going to hold the market in a specific area are going to be limit orders. So anybody using a buy limit, sell limit, stop order, whatever the case might be, is anybody using a limit order, that's going to hold the market at a specific area. So think about like support and resistance where you have a lot of limit orders. So again, aggressive orders are going to move the market. Limit orders are going to hold the market in a specific area. You can see that this move was initiated by the sellers here. You can see the buyers got absorbed up here. Aggressive sellers stepped in, more aggressive selling stepped in, more aggressive selling stepped in, and then the market started to actually sell off. That move was initiated by the sellers. Once we pushed out of that value area low, I waited for a pullback into the value area, and I wanted to see these sellers get absorbed in this value area, and I wanted to see the buyers get absorbed in this value area, and this is where I would look for a continuation back down, which one of the main trades that I took was over here. So you could see aggressive buyer, aggressive seller. Notice when these aggressive buyers came into the markets, the market immediately started to sell off, followed up by an aggressive seller. For me, this is a good sign because the buyers are getting absorbed here by sell limit orders, and all I simply waited for was a pullback and a retest of that area, and if I could see that area hold, I would take the shorts. Stop loss was going to be above this previous high here. Take profit was all the way down here for about a 4R take profit, which I ended up stopping out on that trade. Gave the shorts another shot in this area here, stopped out of that trade as well. Now, my mistake on this specific trade was at the time we were trading right in the middle of that value area, which my issue with these trades was I was assuming that price was going to break out of balance instead of actually looking to play the balanced range. I should have been looking to long at the value area low. And even if I thought that we were going to see a much bigger sell-off, I should have just been waiting for price to push into the value area high and then look to actually short above the value area high. And again, why short above the value area high specifically is because this is where inside of this value area, the majority of business is being done. This is where both the buyers and sellers are happy to do business. Anything above that area is going to be seen as a premium, and anything under that area is going to be seen as discounted. So just think about it that way. So I want to see trapped buying above the value area high. And it got to the point where that's all I simply waited for after taking a couple of losses. I took literally 3 stops trying to short the middle of the value area, which that's my complete mistake. Normally, when we're in a trending condition and we're in a condition where there's a lot of volatility, that's where I would have actually seen that edge play out, a break and retest of the value area, but that was just simply not the case, and that is my fault. That is human error. Now, when it came to me actually starting to take some trades, making money on the day was really later on throughout the London session. So I'm going to drag this volume profile here. What we could see is we had a huge push through the value area high, kind of like, I want to say like almost pre-London, like it was kind of like 1 a.m. here. And then what we could see is we pushed up into almost this high of day, and we pushed up into where these sellers previously came and initiated this big move to the downside. What we could see here at this area, you could see aggressive buyers stepped in, and those so what we can see is aggressive buyers stepped in here at this high. We're trading above the value area, and what I'm looking for are for these aggressive buyers to be trapped. Now, I didn't take this first move down with this initiation. I didn't take this first move down just simply because I didn't see really a lot of aggressive selling. I didn't see any big aggressive sellers come into the market. So after price pushed back up off of that value area high, we see that we had aggressive sellers start coming into the markets, and I took my first shorts in this area here with my stop loss just above that high, and then my take profit was all the way down here at the point of control, and price just blew right through that point of control, and I was able to hold all the way down into this area here. So I had just around like a, I don't know, like a $250 stop loss on this trade on the 5K account, and then on the other account was a little bit more risk, and I ended up making back the majority of my losses just on this one simple move alone, and I ended up writing this down to just like about this area right here, which is super solid. So that was the first short. Now the second short is going to be a little bit different, and why I took the second short, because now things have changed. Now we're trading in a session where there's a lot of volatility coming in and out of the market, and on top of that, what we see here is we can see the buyers come into, broke under that value area low, and what we have here is these wall of orders that previously came in, these wall of larger traders that previously came in at that value area low before we saw price bounce back up. So my ideology was I want to see the sellers reload inside of this area so I can look for a continuation on a short. And what we see here is we see the buyers step in and buyers push price back up. And I wanted to see the buyers get absorbed here at this value area low to look for that continuation lower back down into this level here, which after you could see large buyer steps in, that buyer immediately got absorbed. So when price started to reclaim back beneath and that buyer started getting absorbed, and I saw on the DOM that sellers were reloading, there was another entry right there. My stop loss was just slightly above that high. My take profit was down here. And this was the trade that basically made me all of my money. Unfortunately, I didn't catch like this entire thing. That would have been amazing, but I still made $8,000 on my TPT funded accounts. And then I made another like $1,300, $1,400 on my 5K account, which brought the account back up into profit on the day, which is super solid. So again, it's really not that complicated. All I'm simply looking at to trade gold during the Asia and London session is going to be volume profile, price action, big trades indicator, and cumulative volume delta. Big trades indicator to understand aggression and where these participants and who is being aggressive at what areas and to identify absorption. CVD to spot and look out for divergence and understand when the sellers are really giving it an effort. And really what I look at the cumulative volume delta for is to understand effort versus result. And then lastly, of course, volume profile is going to dictate where price action should head and where we're seeing the majority of liquidity enter the market. So that's really going to be it for the breakdown, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, you guys can also subscribe to my second YouTube channel as well, so you guys can actually see more of these breakdowns more frequently. And you can also join the free Discord as well, which I'll have a link down in the description. I'll see everybody in the next video.